Hi, Pisces. I have a reading for you today that is quite powerful. I see you on a merry-go-round. Now, the merry-go-round is like one I used to see in my schoolyard when I was a kid. Not the fancy ones that you see at amusement parks. So, I don't know if you remember ever being on them, but there's that quality of the closer you are to the edge, physics dictates that the more you're going to be spun around, the more chaotic it's going to feel. And the closer you are to the center, the less you notice the degree of rotation that's going on, or this would say probably the smaller the degree of rotation you're going to experience. And what I see for you, Pisces, is that you have spent quite a bit of time on the edge of that merry-go-round. And sometimes you've gotten thrown right off and you've crawled back on, but sometimes you've just managed to get on enough and it's almost like you're hanging on, but you're flying off around the edge. Now, however, what I see is you, if there were a chair sitting in the middle on the top, you would be sitting on that chair and you would be watching everything go around and you would be quite content to be in the middle where there was almost no movement. Because there's a stillness with that. There's a stillness of mind. There's a stillness of perception. And that is what I feel you are either moving towards or are in. Now, how did that happen? It happened because you worked, man. You worked. I don't think you are aware of how powerfully your energy affects every other thing around you. When I say every other thing around you, I mean the information that comes to you, the support that comes to you, the synchronicities that happen. You have spent quite a bit of time feeling powerless in many situations. But in fact, you are deeply powerful, as we all are. The thing is, your center of power has always been extremely influential on everything around you. What you've gotten now to the understanding of is that, well, you may not have gotten to the understanding of it. That may be the whole purpose of this reading, is that you have reached a point now where you've cleared away so much of the stuff that you needed to clear away energetically, emotionally, energetically within you, that you have revealed to yourself a power center in yourself. You have started to expose that sense of power that comes from the center of your being and your beingness, the true self, rather than your ego self. And that has become more and more influential and more powerful because it's no longer being filtered through a lot of the emotional turmoil and the drama that you've experienced. When I say drama, I don't mean that in a critical way at all. I mean, that's very often the way we experience trauma and turmoil in our lives, is in a dramatic way. And it's when we start moving out of the drama and you go, bored, done with that, or that's taught me something, I don't need it anymore, or I'm just tired of feeling this way and therefore I'm going to figure out how to feel differently. What I feel is that you have really moved through a quality of forgiveness. And when I say forgiveness, my goodness, as I say that word, what I'm feeling is it's not just forgiveness of a person or of yourself. It's almost a forgiveness of having misunderstood the nature of reality and the nature of how life works. It's like, well, I can't hold any blame. The universe is not responsible for this. God is not responsible for this. This is something that is playing out in a way that is not about me personally. It's a function of growth and it's a function of life. And I feel that there is a maturity and an innocence that comes now with that wisdom. A clarity and a growth, an adulthood, where you've grown out of whatever childhood issues you carried with you, whatever contrary beliefs that you were raised with. And when I say contrary, I mean beliefs that are contrary to the understanding of the universe as you now understand it, as a place of growth, as a place of self-discovery, understanding, growing back into the truth of your true consciousness, your expanded consciousness, the connectivity, the divine and sacred nature of Source, and your connection to it. So this actually is a beautiful, beautiful reading. Now, you're also being told here, when you start moving out of that quality of expansiveness and understanding, and you find yourself starting to move back into blame, irritation, frustration, feeling blocked, feeling stuck, check in with yourself and notice what it is you're feeling. Name the emotion, and then breathe and say, do I want to be in this? Do I not want to be in this? And you are being asked in the process of doing that to remember that there is a wisdom beyond you that sometimes you forget is there. And it's really easy to forget that when we feel like things are falling apart. They were good and now they're falling apart. They were better, now it's backsliding. But you're being asked to remember in that case that you don't always know exactly what's the right thing. That there is a wisdom that is greater than yours, and that you can actually lean into that sense that there is a greater wisdom than yours, that there is a greater consciousness than yours. And when I say yours, I don't mean, what I'm saying is your personality, okay? Yes, there is Source, there is a divine wisdom beyond yours, and you are also embodying that. And you can lean into that part of yourself, that higher conscious part of yourself, and remember that that's there, that wisdom is there, and that's where your source of power is. And you want to stay more in that energy as much as possible, because that's where you affect things in a positive way. That's where you are connected to the unified field, where the solutions to whatever's going on for you, or the adjustments that need to be made in your life, come to you, either through other people or through your own wisdom. So this is a really good time to look at whenever your patterns are that are keeping you from staying in that awareness, and then checking in and say, how can I choose differently? How can I do this differently? All right. Now, and there you go. And you get love. Okay. That's your final card, is remembering that love is something that is there for all of us. And it is not something that we need to get from someone else, that we are love. We just need to remember that we are love, that is the ground substance of every cell in our body. And when we find ourselves starting to feel like we're falling apart, allow that sense of love to bring coherence to us. Just rest in that. Calm yourself, trust in faith, and remember that love and power emanate from you, from the true self that you are. And that's what you're learning now to stay in and to deliberately choose when you find yourself going off the rails. Crawl back into the middle of that center if you start sliding away. Remembering those things is going to move you back to the center of that merry-go-round, okay? You don't have to fly off around the edge anymore. You might move down a little bit sometimes, but you can move back up a lot more quickly with this guidance, okay? That's it, Pisces. Take care.